There's something about your first celebrity crush that really sticks with you. Whether they were singing your favorite love song, starring in a movie you couldn't stop rewatching, or lighting up your living room on TV. That person who first gave you butterflies leaves an impression that never truly fades.
And it's okay about my face. It don't hurt much.
The poster, that scene, forever burned in our youthful memories. And although the 60s had Paul and John, and the 70s had David Cassidy, it was the 1980s that the teen heartthrob possibly reigned supreme. I'm Nostalgic Nick for Do You Remember? And today we're going to be looking at some of the dreamiest, some of the most bewitching teen icons of the decade.
If you had access to a car like this, would you take it back right away?
If you enjoy this idol countdown, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel so you never miss an episode. But it's time to buckle up, because we're about to take a sexy ride down memory lane. Emilio Estevez. If the Brat Pack was 1980s Hollywood royalty, then the undisputed king of them all would be Emilio Estevez, the son of actor Martin Sheen. Yep, he's Charlie Sheen's brother. Estevez's breakout role was in the 1983 film The Outsiders, the movie that launched the career of an astounding number of young actors, including Rob Lowe, Patrick Swayze, and of course the one and only Tom Cruise, who removed his tooth cap for the film, revealing an old hockey injury and certainly helping flesh out his character. But Estevez didn't rest on his greaser laurels, and starred in the successive massive hits St. Elmo's Fire and The Breakfast Club, becoming one of the most bankable teen heartthrobs in the business.
Hey! I see him!
And unlike many of his Brat Pack brethren, Estevez's career didn't come to a screeching halt in the 90s. Instead, he starred as Coach Bombay in the Mighty Ducks franchise, which would go on to be one of Disney's biggest hits, and helped him transition from being a teen icon to having more adult roles. More recently, Estevez has pivoted to directing, helming several episodes of Cold Case and CSI New York, as well as the critically acclaimed film The Public, but we'll always remember him as the fresh-faced jock who stole our hearts in detention. River Phoenix. You'd be hard-pressed to find a cooler name than River Phoenix. It's a moniker that just oozes cool. River shot to fame at 16 after starring alongside Corey Feldman and Will Wheaton in Rob Reiner's classic coming-of-age tale Stand By Me. But his breakout role was no fluke, and River quickly became one of the hottest young actors in Hollywood. He was nominated for an Oscar in 1988 for Running on Empty, directed by the legendary Sidney Lumet, and he was also universally praised for his role as a gay street hustler in 1990's My Own Private Idaho.
What new trick do you have for us now, Bob?
It seemed like River was on top of the world, but unfortunately the good times wouldn't last long. On Halloween night 1993, while on what was supposed to be a short visit to LA, River was out celebrating at the Viper Room, a popular club owned by his friend, legendary actor Johnny Depp. After several hours of taking morphine and cocaine, River staggered outside and collapsed on the sidewalk. His 19-year-old brother Joaquin, now an Oscar winner himself, frantically called 911, but River's heart had stopped and could not be restarted. He was tragically just 23 when he overdosed, robbing the world of an incredibly talented, bright young actor, Rob Lowe. The classic career path for a successful actor is to start on TV, then slowly transition to film. However, 80s heartthrob Rob Lowe bucked this trend and did everything slightly backwards. Another member of the hallowed Brat Pack, Lowe also rose to prominence after his turn as the greaser Soda Pop in The Outsiders. With his absurd good looks and acting chops to match, Lowe quickly became a star, appearing in St. Elmo's Fire and getting nominated for a Golden Globe for his role in Square Dance. At this point, Lowe was riding high and nothing could knock him off his perch, unless of course he recorded a sex tape with a 16-year-old, which he did. This scandal almost ended his career, and throughout the 90s, Lowe struggled to land acting gigs until he turned to the small screen. In 1999, he was cast as idealistic Sam Seaborn on the critical darling The West Wing, a role that helped revitalize his career.
Scientists believe that the first human being who will live 150 years has already been born. I believe I am that human being.
Lowe would go on to become a regular on the hit sitcom Parks and Recreation, and can now be found hosting the game show Mental Samurai. From the hardiest of throbs to the small screen king, not too shabby. Mathew Broderick. Quick, who's one of the coolest coming-of-age movie characters of all time? If you didn't answer Ferris Bueller, then there may be something seriously wrong with you. And Bueller, the iconic school-skipping slacker, could only have ever been played by someone with the effortless charm of Mathew Broderick.
Hi, how you doing? Ferris Bueller.
Unlike other actors on this list, Broderick got his start in the theater, appearing in several Broadway productions before winning the Tony Award for Best Actor at the tender age of 21. This stage success let him break into film, and Broderick became a bona fide star after appearing in War Games in 1983, and after tooling around Chicago in a red Ferrari on a school day. He had definitely achieved heartthrob status. Broderick's career hasn't slowed down since. He voiced Simba in The Lion King, and starred in dark comedies The Cable Guy and Election in the 90s. But these days, Broderick has put his film career mostly on hold to return to his first love, the stage. He has appeared in such hits as The Producers and The Odd Couple, and was most recently seen on the West End in The Starry Messenger. Johnny Depp. It's rare that teen heartthrobs become one of the world's biggest movie stars. Normally, their flame burns out early, or they go on to have a perfectly respectable career but seldom hit their teen highs. Not so with Johnny Depp. Depp became one of the young leading lights of the 1980s, after starring in the original Nightmare on Elm Street and appearing in the teen TV drama 21 Jump Street. Depp used this early stardom as a springboard, and was soon starring in classic movies that didn't end in street, like Edward Scissorhands, along with a dozen other Tim Burton films. But then he was cast as the greatest pirate any of us had ever seen, in the Disney classic The Pirates of the Caribbean.
You burned all the food, the shave, the rum.
Yes, the rum is gone.
Why is the rum gone?
It is said the iconic character is based off of Rolling Stones guitarist Keith Richards, and Depp's place as one of Hollywood's biggest stars was cemented. Unfortunately, recent personal troubles have sent Depp's career into a tailspin. His ex-wife Amber Heard alleges that Depp physically and mentally abused her, claims that led to Depp being asked to resign from the Harry Potter spin-off, the Fantastic Beasts franchise. A series of box office flops also hasn't helped him, and today he is far from the bankable star that he once was. Michael J. Fox. Fox's breakout character was as a young Republican on the sitcom Family Ties, a part that netted him 3 Emmy Awards. But it was his early roles in film that truly cemented Fox's teen icon status. In 1985, he starred as both Marty McFly in the beloved movie Back to the Future, and as the titular character in the absurd Teen Wolf.
I mean, you knew about this? You knew about this and you didn't tell me?
Suddenly, Fox was one of the biggest young stars in Hollywood. Then came the bombshell that would change his life. In 1991, Fox was diagnosed with Parkinson's disease, a long-term degenerative disorder that affects the central nervous system. Despite this diagnosis, he continued to act for some time, most notably starring in the hit sitcom Spin City in the late 90s. Unfortunately, the disease started to take too much of a physical toll on Fox, and eventually he became relegated to short guest appearances on TV shows like Curb Your Enthusiasm and The Good Wife. In 2020, Fox officially retired from acting, stating that the disease was preventing him from learning his lines. Now he devotes his time to the Michael J. Fox Foundation, an organization that has raised millions to fight Parkinson's. Charlie Sheen. Winning, always winning. An American obsession, and no teen heartthrob won the late 80s quite like Charlie Sheen, who started acting early, starring in the hit action movie Red Dawn alongside Patrick Swayze at just 19, and that was just the beginning. By the end of the decade, Sheen had picked up credits in a dazzling array of critically acclaimed movies, including 2 Oliver Stone classics, the Vietnam epic Platoon and the 80s ode to the yuppie Wall Street. And who could forget Major League? He was a wild thing. Sheen later took his talents to the small screen, replacing Michael J. Fox in Spin City before landing the starring role in the hugely successful 2.5 Men. By 2010, Sheen was the biggest star on TV and raking in more than 1.8 million per episode. Then it all came crashing down. In 2011, Sheen's decades of hard partying caught up to him, and he had a drug-fueled mental breakdown. He gave a series of bizarre interviews.
You borrow my brain for 5 seconds and just be like, dude, can't handle it. Unplug this bastard, yeah.
At one point stating, I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen. It's not available. If you try it once, you will die. Your face will melt off and your children will weep over your exploded body. Yep. This manic episode led to his firing from 2.5 Men, and Sheen has struggled to find work since. Good thing he has tiger blood flowing through his veins. Wowzers. Those are some A-list hunks who we fell in love with when they were just teenagers. Who was your favorite 80s heartthrob? Did we leave out anyone who made you weak at the knees? Let us know in the comments below. We can always make a round 2. And if you enjoyed this Tiger Beat flashback, please be sure to hit the thumbs up button for us. And subscribe to the channel so you don't miss our next throwback. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks so much for watching.